Good evening, everyone. Welcome. How are you all doing? It is Tuesday. It's time for some retro shenanigans. It is an amazingly catchy tune. I've had that tune in my MP3 demo scene collection for a long time. That, of course, the intro tune being the soundtrack to Versus by EMF, 1996-ish. DOS VGA demo. Very good. So welcome everyone. Voxel Trots, how you doing? Bald Engineer, Retro Fox, Ian, 1994. Wow. Okay, I thought that was a earlier machine. Cool. That means I could probably run it on my 486. You know, once I get a sound card for it and all. Anyway, hope everyone is doing good. It's been another exhausting day for me. Hey Squire, what's up? Thanks to everyone. I had a bunch of follows in there after the Media Archaeology Lab tweeted out about my stream, so thank you all very much. Anyone, any new followers, not subscribers, followers. So thanks. I do retro shenanigans here, or subscribers. Thank you, Voxel Trots. Thank you so much. On an 18-month streak, practically since the beginning of my stream. I'm pretty sure soon you were one of, if not my first sub once I hit affiliates. Thank you so much for your support all this time. I appreciate it. But yeah, we're gonna be working on some stuff. This is the Tandy 100 that I have gotten in from the Media Archaeology Lab. This is in for repair. Tandy 100 is one of my specialties, as some of you all know. And I have some fun stickers out here from the Mal, and also I have the awesome shirt that you may or may not have seen Paulpo wearing in his video about the Pico Gus. This is the Media Archaeology Labs T-shirt. I'm very happy to have it. They launched a little line of clothing called Malware, so I had to get all up in that, absolutely. But yeah, they are, if you do !mal in the chat, it'll pop up their URL. They are a lab on the campus of the Colorado University, University of Colorado Boulder. Colorado University? I don't know. CU Boulder. And they are home to a whole bunch of vintage machines and things that process old media. That is their thing. They are an interdisciplinary lab where it's all hands-on. People come to experience these old machines, do research on these machines, see what it was like, open to students and faculty. They do a lot of awesome stuff here. Ian Paulpo in the chat there is one of their volunteers, right? You're not actually staff. Correct me if I'm wrong. But another Mal pal, as they like to call them. And I have supported the Media Archaeology Lab both with artifacts and money. I love what they do, and tonight we're going to be doing, as they said, a little bit of remote volunteering. You have volunteered, cool. Yeah. Just want to make sure I get everything straight. They're a small lab. They very small staff. And they need support from the community as much as possible. So tonight we are going to be working on this, oh my goodness, gorgeous Tandy Model 100. And it looks like this manual might have gotten a little bit crushed in the zipper case. It was in there. This is included these 2 bits of documentation. So this is the quick reference guide for the computer. Oh man, that's a bummer. That is such a bummer. I wonder if I have a replacement. But this is the sort of thing, I can't remember if you got this with the machine or if it was something you had to purchase. Knowing Radio Shack, you probably had to purchase it. But it's got basic command reference, as most of what it is, communication reference, a little bit of stuff about the operating system, how to do cassette stuff. So it's very cool. And then here's the one about the built-in applications. This was a full-fledged computer. It had it has up to 32K of RAM, 8085 processor running about 2.4 megahertz, and let's see what else. Built-in applications for word processor, well, not word processor, a text editor, a modem program, basic, Microsoft derived basic, and then a bunch of other programs that are basically just fancy ways to process a text file. Not super interesting, like a address book and a schedule keeper and stuff like that. But this is sort of one of my specialties, and this is one of those machines that unfortunately I classify as full recap on site, because it has some problems with the design. Namely, certain capacitors which will absolutely explode and do all sorts of damage to your fun little machine, and we don't want that to happen. So we're going to just do some general service on it. I'm just going to plow into this because there's 17 caps in this. Oh, so this is cool. It seems to have some previous owner information on there, and I'm assuming since they left it on there from the mal that it's okay to sort of show this off, but it's clearly a company-owned machine. It's not anyone's personal information, I don't think, that I'm giving out here. And their little accession date here. Yeah, the caps on this one love to leak and destroy the board, particularly the caps in the power supply section. So we will get into that. Also, not to mention the memory battery, which is another thing that likes to explode and destroy this machine. So all right, let me get a screw holder here. Getting into these guys is quite easy. 4 case screws, and this does have the proper case screws. That's nice. Sometimes I get these in and they have PC board screws in place of the case screws. Not a problem. It's just kind of nice to not have it that way. Hey, Stardust Kitten, how's it going? Suicide batteries. Yeah, I mean, suicide battery is a term that's generally applied to arcade machines where they're designed to die and kill the machine. That is not the case on this type of machine, but it's more like a murder battery, really, than a suicide. So here we are. We've got this. Let me see if I can move my camera a little bit. There we go. Get the whole machine in. It's only partly blocking my face and me seeing chat. My chat, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot, and I upgraded OBS right before the stream. It was just like, hey, here's a new version. I'm like, sure, cool. I like new versions. Oh my God, what have I done? So major version update, and nothing works. And I can't even type in my own chat doc because it wants me to log in. So yeah, fun stuff. So just open the thing up. Looks at first glance okay. I'm not seeing, well, all right, I'm seeing a little bit of what I'm guessing is capacitor damage here. I did not look in the battery compartment. See what the battery compartment looks like. These battery doors are a little hard to get off, and it's also pretty easy to snap their clasps when you do it. Yeah, I was a fool. Okay, good news is the battery compartment does not look like it's had any previous leakage. Let me see if I can turn up my bench light here a little bit. Yeah. Apologies if that wreaks havoc with my camera. It doesn't look like there's been any leakage, nothing in there right now. It doesn't look like it's been cleaned up. And that's a really good sign, because leakage in this compartment will spread to the inside and damage a bunch of other stuff. It does have the memory power switch on, which is a little bit unfortunate to have it shipped that way, but it should be okay. And oh, wow, all right. This door is also not wanting to come out. There we go. All right, and nothing in the option ROM socket either, but we will be fixing that tonight or sometime. Whether it's tonight or not, I'm not quite sure. All right, actually, I'm just going to put that port cover aside for right now. All right, so let's see what the current state of the machine is. See if it works. So I've got my bench power supply here, and I've already checked this, but I will demonstrate it anyway. The power supply for these things is center negative, right? So let's make absolutely sure that we've configured it for center negative. Oh, it would help if I turn my power supply on. There we go. All right. And we're set to 6.1 volts, center negative, because the display is reading positive. Are there any fun ROMs for this model? Well, you know, depends on your definition of fun. There's a spreadsheet. There's improved word processors. There are, I think, an improved terminal program. There is basic debugging stuff. The ROM2 Cluso debugger. There's some software. There's about 12 or so standard option ROMs that you find out there. The main awesomeness about the option ROM socket on this machine is that there was in fact a lot of proprietary vertical software that was built for these things. As far as I can tell, the Associated Press used these, and they had their own custom option ROM, which interfaced with their, I guess, mainframe for the reporters in the field to use. This thing was integrated into a bunch of other devices, one for reading distances on mechanical drawing plots and things like that. So a lot of people use the option ROM socket for application-specific software. Oh, thanks, Stardust Kit Inspire. Yeah, the Bluetooth multimeter is courtesy of Bald Engineer and their community, and the Bluetooth multimeter here that I have for the overlay. I love it. It's so useful on a tinkering stream. But all right, we verified that the voltage is correct, so let's plug it in. I have, as I mentioned before, the memory battery is on, and look at that, fires right up. So this machine is in good working order right now, and it is drawing 47 milliamps, which is great. That's what we would expect. This is a 24K machine. See if I can, zoom in there. So it's showing 21,446 bytes free. That's indicative of a 24K machine. And we saw that when we opened it up. There is actually one empty RAM slot. And I'm going to try and fix that too, so give them back a fully upgraded machine. Yeah, no delay at all, because it's all in ROM. Control Shift break, or Control Shift reset. Poof. Sorry, Control break reset. That's the hard reset on this. And hit that, and boom, there it is. So everything is in RAM. Everything's in ROM or RAM. Another interesting thing about this machine, there's no storage, right? Everything just lives in RAM. You write a text document, it's going to ask you the name of the file, and I'm going to enter a name, and now write something on the screen, and then I hit F8 to go back to the menu, and it's just there. It lives in a portion of my RAM. And so that's why the memory battery was important in this originally. Now, tonight, I'm actually not going to be replacing that memory battery. I may eventually replace it, but two reasons. One is I don't actually have any in stock. I forgot to order more when I used my last one. And B, you don't actually need it on this machine. And I run one of mine without the memory battery. It's perfectly operational. You just don't have that extra buffer to preserve your memory contents. But because of the way they use this machine at the Mao, where it's just brought out for someone to use for a project or to look at individually, and then it goes back on the shelf in storage, I think it makes more sense not to replace the memory battery on this unit. So I'm going to talk to them about what they want done. If they want the memory battery put in, I'll put one in. But I think without that, they just don't have to worry. If it's not there, you can't. If it's not there, it can't leak. So yes, next week. Is it next week or is it this weekend? VCF Midwest. I think it's this weekend. Got the floppy drive for the Model 100. Nice. I have one of those too. All right, so it's electrically looking good. Just going to do a couple of voltage tests here while I got everything out. the connector for the power can be removed from its spot in the plastic. I can plug it in there and then turn it on. I'm sure it's operational because I can see the current display on my meter. But what I want to do is check the test points on here. So I'm going to find me a good ground, which usually I use this reset switch back here. It has a bunch of test points. So this is VEE, and it should read -5, and that's pretty good. This is usually the first voltage rail to fail on this machine. VDD, that is the main +5, and that is looking good, almost 5.1. And there's one more on here, it's VB, which is the battery voltage rail. And that is looking good at 5 right now because it's powered externally. When I shut this off, it should drop down to the battery voltage, which is 2.4. So that's a fairly sickly battery right there. But we can see it's slowly starting to charge up, which is what it'll do when you connect external power or put batteries in. It'll start charging up. But anyway, I can tell this is the original battery. It's a Yuasa. See if I can get a better shot of it here. It's this guy right there. This is an original battery, so it absolutely needs to come out. Hey, Coffee Cup, how you doing? All right. Thought I had this a little better angled. Oh well. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the power supply off, and let's pull the board. Ribbon cable, that comes off there, and then the keyboard is these two pin connectors. And I just sort of have to work out like that. And we are disconnected. I'll put this aside. And then want to get this removed from its housing. No explosions tonight. No explosions. There will be no explosions. How you doing, Bahamut? Not seen a Tandy 100 in a hot minute? All right. Well, as you may know, I have a few of them, but this is not mine. All right, this screw, this post right here supports the keyboard, and it does need to have this little rubber cap on it, or else hard plastic rubs against PC board traces and bad things happen. So this machine is in really good shape. Doesn't look like anyone's done any work on it. Doesn't look like it's had any damage. Now, once we start pulling caps, we may find that cap leakage has occurred. But I'm hoping, since this was in the Midwest, and yeah, all right, so Beaverton, Oregon, that's not too bad. I had one come from Key West, Florida, that was absolutely destroyed from cap leakage. The humidity and the heat that this thing was exposed to just destroyed it. Yeah, these things hit the market in about 82? Somewhere between 82 and 83, they were actually out and you could buy them. I'm pretty sure they were announced in 82. All right, I think that's it. Yeah, that feels like it. So the last thing to do when you're pulling this board out is you need to lift these battery terminals out of the plastic because they sort of stick in place. Just friction fit. So I'll give them a little help getting out so we don't wrench anything loose. There we go. All right. And then this ground pin goes to the bottom shield here, and there's no corrosion on this bottom shield. If batteries have leaked, this bottom shield usually shows it. So, yeah. All in all, good looking machine. Little bit of flaked, a little bit of green here, but that's just flaked solder mask from just physical vibration. These are high vibration machines because they were portables, so they suffer from the stuff that happens to machines subject to vibration. But yeah, things look good. So I think it's time to strap on the anti-static and go to town. So the first thing I'm going to do is these guys over here in the power supply section. I'm using, I have up on my other screen, a capacitor map from Hey Bert. Oh wait, I can't paste it there. I have to paste it here. From Hey Bert, if you know his YouTube channel. I don't think he streams, but he's another Tandy 100 enthusiast. And he has put together a nice capacitor map for this board, so I know exactly what goes where. That is super helpful. So this is, let's see. Yeah, I got some tiny guys and some bigger guys. LMNOP on his list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's go ahead and pull these. These are usually the most problematic of the leaky caps. And then we'll also pull this battery off as well. This stinking camera. Games does it play? Can we plug a trackball into it? No, we cannot plug a trackball into it, but I have played. There is a version, a commercial release of Asteroids for this machine. I have played it. It's a bit tricky to get running because everything has to run out of RAM the way it does, but it does exist. So we're gonna light that up. Now let me see if I have to unjam the gun. No, amazingly, it's looking good. So I think I can just set this aside and start pulling caps. I'm going to readjust the angle on this thing so hopefully you all can see what I'm doing a little bit better. All right. And right off the bat, I've got a problem one. Love it. Let's see. Might need to hit this with the iron. Oh, and look at that. I have not the tip I wanted on this iron. Oh well. Okay, so that guy is out. I'm intentionally not adding solder right now because I want to get a sense of how bad these caps are so I can get a sense of their condition before I go in and just blast them all out. So this one has leaked. There is definitely, well, you're not going to be able to see it with my crappy webcam. But there is definitely residue around these guys, and it has done a little bit of leaking, which I think may be responsible for some of the crap on this diode here. But it's not bad. Looks like maybe a couple of resistors, a couple of diodes. So we will just go ahead and get this stuff out, and then I will take a look at the rest of the damage. Yeah, unfortunately, Model 100s, it's not just the battery, it's all these capacitors. They love to go bad. Usually it's savable with, you know, the typical amount of cleanup, you know, flux things, replace a few components that get crappy leads. Usually it's not too bad, but yeah, this is one of those machines that needs mandatory work. Oh, I should pull the switch caps off of this as well. These are little covers that go inside and just make it so you can't see into the board through the switch port in the plastic case. All right. So yeah, this one has leaked. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of solder here. Reflow this pad. Add some from the top as well, I think. I had a freaking conical tip on this iron, and that is not what I want. I do, however, want my fume extractor, even if it's noisy. All right, let's see how this goes. All right, that's cleared. All right, C90 right below it, which I believe is these pads here. No! Dragging everything around on my bench. This is a little tiny guy, and it's a little hard to get hands on to pull it out. Fact. I'm gonna need pliers. Where's my pliers? Oh, I think I know. In my portable toolbox. So I'm just going to contort things wildly here and pull on this cap while I apply heat from the other side. I know you're loose. Come out of there. All right, yeah. You're loose. You're just glued in place with crappy solder. All right. Okay. Yep, I'm pretty convinced about the condition of this thing. So now we're going to do the thing, or coffee cup, or I guess it's really Ren. Hey, how you doing? There's a printed circuit board. Yes, it's a printed circuit board with parts. With parts. So now I'm going to go ahead and flux and solder. Add flux and solder to the back. Now that I know what we're up against, all right, well, that cap just fell out. That one practically did. All right. So, no, well, some problems with, yeah, these caps have leaked a little bit too. Yep, Tandy 100 recap tonight. How are you doing, Proton Fig? I think this one is this. Pins right here. Yeah, these guys are all a little bit funky, but I don't think any of them are too bad. Hey, Beanhead with the raid. Didn't even notice. Got my head down here.
Wait for it, wait for it.
Outrun. Love it. Absolutely love it. Very nice. Excellent driving, Beanie. Welcome, Beanhead and Raiders. Welcome, everyone. How was your stream? You were on the Amiga tonight, right? I think you were playing Epic, in fact. I hope you had a good stream there. We're working on a Tandy 100, which is a portable computer from 1982. It's on the bench tonight for a recap. Let's see if I can get slightly better images of stuffs here. It was Epic, yes. Epic was meh. That's a shame. When a game called Epic doesn't deserve its name. Let me grab the top case. Y'all can see a little bit about what this machine is. for anyone who hasn't seen it, this is what the machine was like. I'm on my zoom. Let me unzoom a little bit. And Hitch, welcome in. So this is what the machine would look like. You know, obviously with the back on it. But this was a nice little portable from 1982. What I like to affectionately refer to as a slab top, and a great keyboard on it. Fun little display. I love these machines. I have several of them. And this one is in for repair from the Media Archaeology Lab. That is the Media Archaeology Lab, which is part of the CU Boulder University here. I'm just noticing actually this spacebar is a little bit wonky. You can maybe see how it's not correct. So I'll have to get under there and see if maybe, hopefully just the stabilizer bar has detached. Hopefully we haven't broken the supports. So anyway, we're doing a recap on it because this is one of those machines that, similar to your Amiga 1200, absolutely must be recapped no matter what because of major issues with it. Yeah, so it is kind of there are two projects that I have seen that take this form factor and turn it into something modern, you know, cyberdecky. One is the Ready 100, and the other one is the Clockwork Dev Terminal. Clockwork Dev Term. They're both basically take the same form factor, both heavily inspired by the Tandy 100. It is a great form factor. I have lots of machines in this form factor, and I really like it. So we just removed almost all of the caps from the power supply area. There is, let's see, 2 more up here. So I'll go ahead and pull those now. So that's these guys here. And then this guy here. Waiting for yours to dissolve. Was it that uncooperative tonight, Beanie? Alright, that's the big guy. This one looks okay. This one is still attached somehow. Let's fix that. This one has also leaked. Yay! Leaky caps. Looking for any excuse to buy an A600. Well, that I can understand. The A600 is a lovely, lovely machine. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Proton. My sleep has not been super great either. My new job is rather busy, and I wind up keeping myself up at night about stuff. All right, so now I think I'm going to go ahead and replace this set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 capacitors. And we'll just fire up the machine, make sure everything works. So we've got J, K, L, M, N, O, P on this chart that I'm using. We'll start with, just do them all in order. J being 4.7 25 volts. I think I pulled that out. 1, 1, 1. No, I did not pull up 4.7s, so to the giant boxo caps we go. .7, 100 volt, don't need that. 50 volt, 35. Man, I got a lot of voltages in 4.7. Well, I don't really have the right size for this. Because it's a tiny cap that's coming out, and I'm going to put a much larger one in. But there we go. .725. All right. Well, all right. So I have 35s. That's good enough. 4.735 can go in its place. I have two different types. Are these the same? Yeah, they are. Which one is... This one is physically shorter, so I will install it. It's the only 4.7. Yeah, it's the only 4.7 on the chart. So, whoops. Static strap back on. All right. The 4.7 goes J. Yep. That was U. And this silk screen is nice. It identifies the negative correctly. So just get that in there. That's not too tall. It's right next to this really tall transistor here, so got plenty of headroom here to get this guy in. Spread the leads a little bit, hold it in place, and then K, which is a 470-10. I have a 470-16. Perfect. Well, I guess not perfect, but damn good. And this one wants to be folded over and lay flat. So we'll do that. Let's see if I can solder these in without having to change my tip. Try and move the camera down a little bit better, give you all a slightly better chance of seeing what the hell it is I'm doing. All right. All right, that's in. That's in. Little snippy. All right, now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here. Starting with L, which is 476.3. Might have to put in another 16. Oh, no, wait, I have 476.3s. Look at that. Come on, get out, get out. It's even marked. I even marked it on the tape. It's Model 100 Cap C84. Guess I do this a lot. At LM 33 mic 10. I don't actually recall getting any 33s out. I bet I missed this one too. Yep, sure did. This is the incredibly exciting part of the stream, I know. $33.50, $33.10. Right here. Looks like I only need one of these as well. C85. Yeah, C85. There's a lot of exploding going on in my chat. What are you all blowing up? All right, the last one of this lower cluster, the O, which is a 1 mic 50. That's C90. Yeah. Now this one, I'm not sure. This one is... Yeah, this is the one I had problems fully opening before. Let's get... I'm going to try and do this with the engineer solder sucker here. See if that'll work. Well, not like that, it's not. Might have to double team this one. It's a bit tricky to do. That got it. Put the soldering iron on one side of the board, solder sucker on the other side. Just suck it right through the via. All right, 1 mic 50s. I know I have these specifically for this machine. Have to find them. 1 mic 50 right here. Hello, Ninja Bartender. Welcome to the stream. The Tandy 100 recap here. It's Tandy Model 100 here on the bench. I'm finishing up this lower cluster of capacitors here. N is a 100 mic 6.3, which I think I have. I think I pulled that one out. 10, 47, 470. Maybe I didn't. Man, I'm really bad at this. $100 microfarads. I was like, oh no, we don't have any, but what they are is I just don't have them in a bag for whatever reason. Yeah, 100 microfarad. No, it calls for 6.3. I think what I have is 25, which is a little higher than I would like, but I think it'll work. All right, so this is cap N, which is 86. And then right above it is C92, which is a 0.47. Pretty sure I have a couple of those. Yeah. Oh, what's... Oh, look. It's a C64 cap kit. What's that doing in there? Anyway, 0.47. 100 volt in these, which is also a bit higher than I would really like. But, I mean, these are power supply capacitors, so they will see a fair amount of ripple over their life. So, probably not the worst thing in the world to up the voltage a little bit. I just don't want to up it too high. All right, let's get you guys soldered, and we will retest. That's hot. That's hot. Okay, at this point should be functional again. Let's verify that it is. Right, power switch is off, so I'm just going to attach the power supply, the bench supply here. And Namcos, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, Namcos and viewers. How are you doing? How was your stream? Don't know that I saw. What were you doing tonight? I don't know that I saw you. I don't know that I saw you on. God, a lot of raids tonight. Thank you all so much. Hope you're all enjoying the show, enjoying the recap. I always wonder if this is just like the absolute most boring thing I can possibly do on stream, or if people enjoy seeing it and talking about it. We're just about to turn this thing on, retest it after replacing the power supply capacitors. These are the most critical capacitors. The rest of them, not necessarily. The rest of them are not as critical, but I'm going to go ahead and replace them anyway. But let's verify that it still works. So I'm going to turn this on. Turn on my meter as well. Well, I'm glad. I mean, I assume people like it well enough to hang around. So, all right. And we are drawing 40 milliamps, which is what I would sort of expect. I don't actually know that the machine is booted, but let's check our voltages. VEE is minus 5.2, so that's actually improved. That's good. VDD 5.1, very solid. VB, this is the battery rail right now, which is powering the memory. It should be the same, so that's good. So power supply looks good after the recap. As well, finished Iron Assault on DOS. Nice, by Mr. I have not used DOS in my Mr. I know the core is there, but I've never really done anything with it. Pool of Radiance on the 486. Okay, cool. I have a 486 build that's sort of in progress. I've streamed a bit about that here. So, all right. Machine appears to be functional. Let's throw it back in here just real quick as a sort of platform to hold everything together while we do a fuller test. We'll hook up the display at least here. Nope, I'm going to hook up the display correctly. There we go. Get this back in the case so I can plug it in. All right. There we are. We have working machine. And should be able to adjust the contrast fully. Yep, I see nothing there. And now it's almost full dark there. So that -5 voltage that improved is the thing that drives the negative bias on the LCD. So it's critical that that thing have a wide range of voltage in order to be able to adjust the contrast for wherever you need. You know, this is because of the camera angle. You're not going to see the full. GG! Thank you for the GG's coffee cup. Thank you. All right, so that is good. And not drawing excessive current either, which is the other thing we want. These things should never draw more than about 70 milliamps from the DC supply. Otherwise, you have problems, usually leakage or flux issues on the board. All right, so Time to get in here and get the rest of them, at least as many as I can before I have to end the stream. Yeah, it does feel good. Always feels good to recap a machine. All right, now let's go ahead and do the big thing now. Let's get this battery out of here. For that, I'm definitely going to apply some flux. Switch the battery off just for safety. All right, got our great big pads here for the battery. Okay, I think I got that one. There's a lot of heat mass on between the battery pins and the big traces there, and then the holes are pretty small. But yep, that came free. So we have the memory battery, and actually does not appear to have leaked. So that's really good. This is another one of those. This will destroy machines, of course. We all know Varta, the bringer of death, destroyer of worlds. This is a UASA, but same deal. This will F your S up. And like I said in the introduction, I'm not going to reinstall a memory battery in here because I really don't think that this machine needs one. I will talk with the MAL and find out what they want, but not going to install it for right now. I'm going to suggest, it's my professional opinion, that they not reinstall it. They're a little different than some museums where they insist that everything be original. I've worked on one for a museum in Indianapolis, and they didn't even want the RAM upgraded. They wanted absolutely nothing, just the bare minimum to keep it alive. And I was like, I do what you want me to do. But this one is a little different. It's a hands-on place, and so usability is a little bit more important than authenticity, I think. But anyway, I'll check with them. So now moving on to the rest of the capacitors. We've got these three right here. Those will be the next ones to come out. And this guy here by the reset switch as well. Now these usually do not show as much of a problem. And indeed, that one is out without any trouble whatsoever. Out. Out. That last one had a little bit of a sweat joint, but yeah, these caps are all looking good. I bet, in fact, if I put these on the meter, I bet they would test okay. I bet they test in spec. Let's check them. My trusty multi-component tester. See if the battery's any good on this thing. 53 microfarads, ESR, almost an ohm. And this is a 47. So that's probably in spec. ESR is a little high. Again, age. But not too bad. ESR 1.1, again 53 ohms instead of the 47. But yeah, basically not too bad. But glad we're doing this. F is, all right, so this is F, G, and H on our capacitor map. So they're 47/16s. Find my 47s. 4725. That'll do. Actually, a little low on these. Order a few more. Oh, crud. This is a capacitor I do not have. Because I looked at the board and I said to myself, okay, where's the polarity marking on here? If the camera would focus, this does not have a polarity marking. It has a different symbol on there. And that's when I looked at the capacitors, saw that there's no stripe, and then it says right here, BP, bipolar. So these are probably for the serial port, and they are bipolar capacitors, which I do not have. So I'm going to leave these out for now. Dagnabbit. So bipolar capacitors, they don't have a polarity. They allow the voltage to swing either direction. And you would use that for something like a serial port where the voltage swings, plus minus 12. So that is another capacitor I'm going to have to order. So I'm pretty sure I don't have any. I'll check my stash, but I'm pretty sure I don't have any. Well, all right. Just mark those. Yep, non-polarized. And C52 is another one that's non-polarized. That's this one right here. I think that's in the modem section. 1 mic 50 non-polar. That I don't think I have either. Most of the time, when I've been doing these machines, I've just done the power supply section, and it's only actually relatively recently that I've been convinced that the entire board needs a recap. So clearly, I have not bothered to order stock of the rest of the capacitors that this machine needs. Oh, that's right. This is the one that doesn't have a baggie. So I will have to do that. That's a little bit of a bummer. But anyway, C78. That's a 3.3 mic. That one I kind of thought I had, but I'm not seeing it in here. I might have it. I have another drawer with some miscellaneous capacitors in it. That might be in there. I'm going to skip it for right now since I'm just pretty close on this board. What else have we got? A, B, D, and E. So that's These four here are little tiny jobs. And then this guy up here, Q on the list. So these are 10 mic 16s. That I'm sure I have. Sure I have 10 mics. 10 mic 25, that'll do. So let's pop these guys out of there. Little tiny components in the middle. Little tiny components in the middle of a sea of larger components, and they're really hard to grab once I desolder them. There's the parts order, and you don't have any pipe holders either. Well, order some from me when you place your order, will you? Thanks. Appreciate it. All right, that guy's out. Now I will get on to the DigiKeys and order some more capacitors. I think that's these pads right there. Let's try it, see if I'm right. Yep, those are both still stuck down. A little bit of flux, because you should always use more flux, right, Bold Engineer? Bald Engineer's pre-roll for his stream has little electronics quizzes in front of it that you can interact with and chat. And one of the questions is just like, literally, what do you always need more of? And the answer is flux. This one is hanging on by a thread. I can feel it. Without seeing anything someone does, I know they need to use more flux. It's like those one node flow charts, right? Do I need more flux? Yes. All right. That guy's out. Ooh. Ooh. Crusty. Crusty. Let me see if I can get this to show up the tiniest little bit on camera here. That is crusty. Nope, camera doesn't like me. Camera hates me. I hate this camera. Small two sockets on the back of the board there. Kind of chipped does it hold? Okay. Thank you for asking. So the back two sockets here are, this is the system bus connector, and this is the option ROM socket. The system bus connector is a standard DIP 40, I think, and it's literally the system bus. It's the address, all the enable control lines. Well, it's the address and data. The 8085 actually uses a multiplexed address data bus, so the bottom bits of the address double as the data bits. That's how they cut down on the pin count. So this has the address data bus and all the control signals and clock and all that stuff. This one is a Molex carrier, and I will just go ahead and show that now. Hang on just a moment. I'm going to clean my hands. Just a little bit of isopropyl. Dissolve some of this flux. Because flux is great until it's not. So that socket right there wants to hold a very special kind of chip. I have one in here. This is a Tandy option ROM module. So what you would do, you would go to your friendly Radio Shack store, and you would say, I want to buy, this is Multiplan, which is a spreadsheet program. It's by Microsoft. And they would say, sure, that'll be $800,000. You pay them, and then the salesperson will actually flip your Model 100 over, take off the option ROM cover plate, and then install this module in there. So it's got a little key on this side and two little keys on that side, and then they made up with keys on the side of this. And so you just take this chip and you press it firmly into the option ROM socket. And the pins on the inside of this socket mate with the pins that are on this mask ROM, and they sort of wrap around this plastic carrier. And that's how they install the stuff. And then when you want to take it out, you just grasp these little plastic tabs and pull and pull. All right, way easier going in than coming out. But that's the deal with that. But some clever individuals have come up with a device called the Rex. And this is the last thing that's going to happen to this board. Actually, I have a demo Rex right here. This is a, pardon the dust, this is a homemade device. I actually made this one, although this one is faulty for reasons I haven't sorted out, but I keep it around as a demo because I don't care who handles it. It has a Xilinx CPLD and a 1 megabyte flash TSOP on the back, and it is castellated here to go into this socket. Now, it's not a perfect fit, which is why you need a spacer underneath it so that you can't press this too far. And then it has this little line here that matches up with this carrier, so it's not keyed properly. It's a bit of a hack. The designer has since actually improved this significantly, and the ones that he makes and manufactures and sells now are in 3D printed carriers with this castellated bits, and you can just plonk them in. You don't have to worry about the spacers. You can't get it in wrong because it's properly keyed, and it's really nice. But these are a few that I have made. I had one left over, and so I told the Mel, if you want it, it's yours. I don't make these anymore. The designer doesn't support them anymore. He's making it and selling Rex Sharp, he calls it now. It's a good product. It's available. For a long time, you couldn't get these because he wasn't making them anymore, and this thing sort of languished. So a bunch of folks stepped up and started making them, myself included. But now he's back. He's improved the product. It's even better. There's no reason to make any more of these, so I'm not going to make any more of these. I'm not going to make them or sell them. But in this specific case, because I'm installing it, I'm friends with the people there. I can support it myself. I'm going to install one of these old Rex classics in it for the Media Archaeology Lab. Save everybody a little bit of money. And I know that they won't be bothering the developer with support because they're going to come to me for support. So that's what this socket does. All right, now we were looking at 10 microfarad capacitors. Oh, actually, we still had to get the rest of them out, I think. It's where we left off. Yeah, we've got one more. C54. 49, 50, 54, and 55. All right, we got to pull 49 and we got to pull 55. And yeah, I can see there is nasty on these traces. So these are going to have to be cleaned up probably with the fiberglass pen. So I will not be reinstalling these tonight. Well, unless I can clean them up in the next half hour. Back to our Zoom. All right, 50, let's see, 52, that's a non-polar. 54, that's the one right here that refused to come loose. Why did you refuse to come loose? I don't know. I will resolder you instead. Resolder you with flux, and then we will try again. And let's see, I'm gonna resolder the last one of these as well, which I think is these guys here. Alright, that looks good. Make sure I think I'm on the right set of pins. If I desolder the wrong thing, I'll just solder it back in again. Turn on my solder sucker. Yeah, I'll get the right parts. None of this is urgent. Plus, I'm going to buy a stash so I can continue working on these. And probably there's a bunch of mine that I haven't fully recapped either. So I want to go ahead and do that. Whoops. All right, you're out. And you're still stuck down. All right. Okay. Yeah, crud. That guy leaked as well. Yeah, so all these 10 mics like to leak. I wish I could show you a good shot of this board. But these, I wonder if I can actually. Logitech camera settings. I wonder if I can adjust the focus on my 920. There we go. That's a little bit better. Whoa. Okay. All right. Calm down. No need for craziness. So you can sort of see all the gunk around here, and see these guys are practically black here. Wow, what in the world is going on with my camera driver? All right, I'm gonna close this close the camera control program, because clearly it doesn't like that. I hate it because it's like, clearly this camera can focus this close, it just won't, because it's being a pain in the butt. So that's going to need a lot of cleanup. All right, and then the last one is C103, which is a 220 mic 10. But let's just get it out for right now. That should be everything. Everything except for the bipolars. All right, 103. That I should have. That's 220 mic 10. Let me see if I got it out already. I don't think I did. $220 6.3. 220 25. That'll do. One last one on this bit of tape. Negative pin there. Normal polarized electrolytic. All right. Now that that is done, I'm going to turn off my soldering iron, because I think it might be done soldering for the night. The real chore here is going to be to clean up these pads from the leaked capacitors. But the first thing I want to do, actually, well, the next thing I want to do is to clean up the back of this board, because I know for a fact that these boards are just absolutely caked in flux and other general nastiness. So I'm going to just hose this board down with isopropyl and go over it with Kim wipes. Got Kim wipes. Get my toothbrush, or whatever brush I'm going to get here. I might actually use this brush instead. Well, I'll start with the toothbrush. So the flux on the back of this board, actually the flux on the front of the board can cause a problem. One of the guys I know, oh look, a little bodge wire right here. I didn't notice that before. I wonder if that's factory. That's a factory bodge. Not familiar with that. Hey Bert, is like the other enthusiast I mentioned, he will actually go as far as ultrasonic cleaning these boards because the flux can cause all sorts of problems. Given that we're not seeing any of those problems on this board, I'm going to clean the back of it, leave it there. But basically, just get our wipe here, just spray this board down, lay our wipe over it, then go over it, toothbrush, and this will work alcohol in there and try and get that flux up onto the wipe and off of the board. So pull that off of there and it looks like a freaking ashtray. This wipe is just solid yellow. See if I can put it next to something that'll get the color right. Yeah, it's just absolutely caked in flux residue. And this is from the factory. This is how Radio Shack sold them. It's just disgusting. Yeah, you and me both, Bold Engineer. I ain't got the space. Hey, Aaron, what's going on? We're recapping well, we've done half of the recap on this Tandy 100 here. Oh, thank you so much for the raid. How were y'all? How was? I didn't realize y'all were on. What were you guys up to? I think this is a new record for a number of raids in one night. Thank you for the 100 bits, Texas Foosballer. We appreciate that. We're just showing off how much disgusting flux is on this board. I'm going to spray it down with isopropyl alcohol and then go over it with a wipe and a toothbrush, and it just comes up yellow, absolutely yellow, with flux residue. Yeah, just absolutely disgusting. Did a DIY an ultrasonic cleaner with a large shallow basin. Like, a lot can go wrong. Probably. There's a lot of power going into an ultrasonic. And thank you to the anonymous gifter for gifting a sub to One Man Conga. That is very kind of you. See how much nasty I can get off of this back of this board. Bin plastic tub for soaking boards one's called for. Yeah, I mean, I've just flat out washed them too. Wash them and then rinse them down with isopropanol. All right, let's go over the power supply section. Yeah, just handling this board, I can feel my hands getting sticky with flux. Oh no, I'm good. Just had it at a weird angle. Thought my sprayer was giving out on me for a second. Anyway, Amigos Retro Gaming, how was your stream? What were you guys doing over there? Apologies if you've already said and I missed it. It's kind of hard to keep up with chat, especially when my OBS is on the verge of malfunctioning again. All right. Well, I can touch this part of the board and my finger doesn't stick to it anymore, so that's an improvement. Commodore fork with the Fujinet hardware, that is being worked on. Pretty sure that's a thing. Or a thing in development. If T-Shack is still around, sure he will comment. Try to break all this flux loose. Super A-Can and MS-DOS game. A lot of people streaming DOS tonight. That's awesome. Namcos came in earlier after a DOS stream too. Yeah, I figured that's what you meant there, Texas Foosball. Thanks for letting me know. Appreciate it. Flux never ends. What were we saying about flux earlier, Bald Engineer? Okay, that is a very large improvement. I'm going to go over this section here with the connectors one more time. They clearly still have a fair amount of residue left on them. And a switch. Yeah. It's like the Karate Kid of electronics. Flux on, flux off, right? Okay, that is a lot better. A lot better. Make the board less icky to handle, hopefully reduce the electrical effects of the flux as well. It's literally been seen that the flux underneath some of these ICs on the other side has caused enough current leakage to do something like keep the modem off hook. It's crazy how bad it is on these boards. Okay. Oh yeah, that feels way, way, way better. So now I can start to take a look at these damaged pads on the other side. Yeah, this one here never actually opened up all the way. So I'm gonna try and heat that up, maybe get a little bit of flux on it. See how these vias do. See if I can rehab them a little bit. Whoops, fume extractor. Right, that opened up pretty good. All right. Now I'm taking off solder mask. Damage here is pretty good. These are both plugged right now. All right, I managed to unplug the bottom one. Top one is still unhappy. All right. Hey, thanks a lot, Bald Engineer. Appreciate you stopping by. Good luck with your recordings. Yeah, that is super plugged. Might need to double team this one as well. Actually, let me try heat from the back. Ramrod from the front. This one right here, like ow, I hate this camera. I need a better camera. Anyway, I can see, if I shine a light through here, let me try this. Might be able to see some of these this one via here is still plugged right underneath that red capacitor. It's just refusing to come loose. Hey, Retro Gaming Denmark, how are you? That one's really bad. That's really bad. I might have to drill that. Yeah. So there's so much corroded solder stuck in this via that it's not melting and extracting like normal solder because it's so contaminated by the leakage from this capacitor. That's what we're dealing with right now. And that's unfortunate. But it's kind of par for the course with some of these leaky capacitors. Like I can actually get my iron into that hole and it still won't melt the solder. This is really tricky without a board holder. I should set one up. Nah, it's not going to come without more persuasion. A soldering iron with more heat. I mean, I'm already running this. This iron gets pretty hot, and I've already been running it up to 380. Was it 360 a minute ago? The problem is I don't really know what the melting temperature of the resulting crud alloy on this thing is. And I'm applying enough heat now that I'm starting to really worry about damaging the via. In fact, I may have already slightly begun to do so. Yeah, I can already feel it starting to deform slightly. So at this point, I don't want to apply any more heat. I'm just gonna drill it. I have a very small drill bit, and I won't even put it in a drill. I'll just chuck it in a hand chuck, and just twist it, and very slowly just dig out the crud alloy that's in here, and then I'll have to probably reinforce this pad because it's damaged. Started by the capacitor and then exacerbated by me. And that's always the risk when you do a recap on these machines, is if something is slightly damaged by leaking, you run the risk of damaging it even further trying to correct your work. So you have to basically know when to throw in the towel. So I'm throwing in the towel right here. I have low temperature removal alloy. This is SRA fast chip right here, similar to Chip Quick. I could give that a shot and see if it gets in there and dissolves some of the crud, but I think at this point the safest thing to do is just physically drill it out. So I will do that off stream. So this guy's going to sit on the bench for a little while because I got to order some parts and I got to finish dealing with the damage on these capacitor pads, because the rest of them also need to be cleaned. And I'll get in there with the fiberglass pen and clean off the damaged copper, flux them, retin them, maybe put down some. I should use UV curing solder mask, but probably I'll just use green nail polish because I'm me. But anyway, so that's the deal with the Tandy 100. Just preventing further problems. Like I showed you, everyone, it was working just fine. And that's the problem with these, is they look like everything is fine, and everything is not fine. So that's the deal. So like I'm gonna call it here. I'm sweating like crazy, and it's time for me to go do household bedtime stuff. But thanks everyone for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I think I can move my camera out of the way now. Hope everyone has a good week. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the raids. Amigos Retro Gaming, Nemcos, Beanhead, everyone. I think I missed another raid. It's got a lot of raids tonight. Hitch, Retro Hitch. Thanks everyone for that. Octems, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Ian, thanks for being here. You're welcome. You're all welcome. I really love hanging out with folks doing projects online. It's, people to talk to, more fun than just me here sitting at my workbench swearing at a Tandy 100. Don't know if we'll come back to this next stream. I definitely want to do some DOS stuff coming up with the 486. So we'll see. Probably not going to get parts for this thing in time for next week to fix it up anyway. So this would just sort of sit around. But I'll get it back to the Media Archaeology Lab. Again, !Mal in the chat to learn more about the Media Archaeology Lab and the suppliers of these wonderful shirts. Hey, Anonymous, what up? The stream's about to end, unfortunately. We've been working on this Tandy 100 here. It has whipped me a little bit because of some leaky capacitors. But we'll be back at that. I'll get some more parts and get in there and clean out these vias. So let's see if anyone is on who needs a raid. Who should we raid? Rexadecimal, streaming a little Digimon, and Sid Heresy, Science and Technology, which could he repairs a lot of stuff, synthesizer stuff. Let me pop on over to his channel, see what Sid is working on. Game Boy Color repair. Okay, yep, I think that's where we're going. So we're gonna go on over and raid Sid Heresy. And say hello to them, and if I have the channel points, make them do something silly like dance parties and good stuff. And I will see you all hopefully next week. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great week.